feel-good breakfast show.
We are back with more movies with JP Sebastian. This time around, we're going to take a look at his personal list of favorite AI movies. Should we dive straight into it? The
Absolutely,
first movie.
yes. So we're doing this just on the heels of the fact that we spoke about the creator. And like I said, it feels like we're in a bit of a desert with sci-fi. It doesn't mean that sci-fi is supreme compared to everything else, but everything's like, oh, well, if it's a superhero movie, it's a sci-fi. It's like, no, that's not what makes sci-fi. Sci-fi is like, how is technology going to change how we look at ourselves, each other, community, and AI, et cetera, et cetera? How does it change our plasticity of our sort of intellectual space and whatever, blah, 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 blah.
The list itself, is this your top 5? Or is
Not
this
necessarily my top, but
what you recommend
I highly
in the AI
recommend
world?
because they're not just because they're good movies, but also they feel very prescient in 2023.
still relevant today.
So look at some of these dates and they might surprise you. So let's hop in.
Yeah,
Let's do Moon.
And I made life difficult for myself because this isn't explicitly AI. What you've got here is Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell, this is the first time I realized I was like, dude, this guy can act. This guy's such a good actor. Obviously, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think he got the Oscar for, if I remember correctly. You know Sam Rockwell. Look at the face. You'll remember.
Yeah.
And in this, he plays off of, in similar way to Interstellar, where there's that robot that accompanies Matthew McConaughey. He's got a character called Gertie. However, this is from, I think, 2009. We'll check on the strap on the title bar in any second now.
Correct, yeah.
But he is on the moon where he works for a corporation that sends back from the moon HE3, helium-3, which is a new fuel option for us because we've hit oil problems.
Sounds pretty relevant.
And so he's just one man who has to operate like 4 automatic harvesters and then every now and then send back a pod. He has a contract that's 3 years and then he gets to fly back to Earth and obviously makes a lot of money for it because it's very expensive to send humans up there. The problem comes along is that A, he's got this sort of babysitting robot, and we've seen babysitting robots in movies before. Alien. Ridley, you remember those creepy, slick black alien creatures? And the robot there is not necessarily your friend. He's programmed to vuckle and work behind the scenes and whatever. And in a similar way, Gertie has a bit of his own agenda, the robot, and Sam Rockwell is going to get to the bottom of this. He then wakes up to find himself in the headquarters. He finds a clone of himself.
What?
Exactly, he's not the only person on the moon, possibly this whole time, maybe he just arrived, but it gets really twisty, and what's amazing about this is a lot of AI and robot movies we see, it's like, it's really dark and it's warfare and this robot's tearing humans to pieces, whatever, but this movie is heartbreaking, guys, especially for the story it tries to tell about us becoming machinima, us becoming automata for capitalist systems, that we become the AI, algorithmic, under the sort of stewardship of these Gertie-type algorithms and robots or whatever, that we are replaceable by ourselves, etc., etc. It gets as deep as you want. Do try and watch Moon.
You've convinced me.
Yeah, man, I'm so surprised.
And so heartbreaking, guys.
So surprised how this one kind of slipped through the cracks when it comes to AI movies. I never realized this back then. So
movie. Do give it a
very
watch.
nice stuff. But moving on, this is a big one. I think many of us would definitely add this to the list. Ex Machina, 2014.
Wow. So I think this is where Alicia Vikander makes her first appearance as an actress. A24 really starts like drawing their line in the sand as one of the great movie studios against even the big ones that we just mentioned earlier. And Ex Machina is this, Ex Machina is just fine as well, but Ex Machina is Greek pronunciation of it. Deus Ex Machina is the old saying, from the machine comes God, etc., or from God the machine, Deus Ex Machina. But Oscar Isaac from Dune, obviously you might remember, everyone's Zaddy. In this he plays sort of a Zuckerberg Zaddy. Domhnall Gleeson is such a good actor. He is also in Star Wars, and so was Oscar Isaac. Yes. And Alicia Vikander plays this robot. So what Oscar Isaac gives to Domhnall Gleeson as a test. In real life, there's something called the Turing test. Alan Turing was a scientist who helped code cracking in World War II and really came up with the idea of there possibly being a world of artificial intelligence eventually. And Oscar Isaac says to him, what the Turing test is, if you are chatting, say, for example, to ChatGPT or any one of these irritating AIs that are just very aggravating to JP right now, and you cannot tell that you're talking to a computer, then it's past the Turing test. That you don't know that you're talking to a human or computer. Instead, Oscar Isaac is like, I'm putting you in the same room as the thing. You're going to look at the gears of the thing. You're going to look at all the tubes and all the cogs and all the nuts and bolts, and you still have to be convinced it's a human. And if you are, then I've totally, sorted the Turing test. So those are 2 really, really good recommendations. There are obviously plenty of others. I think I've eaten so much into my own time. We need a robot to do these segments so that JP can talk a lot faster.
But no one can bring the goods like you, man. So let's go through the list while we still have time. We've obviously got Her, which is up next. That's from 2013. A quick run through from that.
Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson deserved an Oscar nomination just for voice work as an OS, a computer operating system that Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with. Totally non-judgmental in a weird way, like, wow, is this really good for him? Does he seem happy falling in love with AI? See for yourself, Spike Jonze, he's an immaculate filmmaker, really beautiful. This whole movie feels very warm, but it's very heartbreaking in its own way. Almost in a way, Joker, lonely guy, into the possibility of a very dangerous outcome, into the possibility of a beautiful outcome. You'll see for yourself, do watch Her.
Ooh, so he falls in love with his...
Alexa, his Siri, etc.
His operating system. Oh, listen.
Give it a look.
So many movies. We're going to just quickly run through them. Blade Runner as well as Minority Report.
Blade Runner 2049, incredible. Ryan Gosling, a weird flip of, are you the robot or are you the human? Being the surprise at the end, like, oh, after all this time of me grinding myself into the dust, I am special. I'm not just a droid. See for yourself.
And let's not forget Harrison Ford, Anna de Armas, Jared Leto, Dave Bautista all in that one. And then our last on your list, Minority Report.
So prescient. 2003, I think it was. Steven Spielberg, still in 2023. Holy heck, it is still telling the future in a crazy prescient way, in that we still have companies like Peter Thiel's trying to predict crime in American areas in real life. And Minority Report was trying to warn us all about that kind of stuff. It's so prescient, so philosophical, so deep, so prophetic.
Oh, well, listen, we brought you all of JP's favorite AI, or at least the ones he feels are very relevant right now to your screens, and that's all because The Creator is coming out in cinemas today, and that's also a movie all about AI, I suppose. You can say that.
Real concerns, we'll talk about that more with a scientist, I suppose. One who can talk faster than JP.